You've been told a lie your entire life that aging is nothing more than biology running its course. That's a slow decline written into your DNA, unstoppable, irreversible, cruel. The lie says you are nothing more than flesh and bone, destined to break down, wrinkle, and fade into dust. But what if aging was not just the erosion of the body? What if it was the consequence of a deeper forgetting? The ancients never saw aging as simply physical. To them, it was a disease of stagnation. When the river stops flowing, the water grows stale. When the spirit stops moving, the body decays. And the greatest tragedy is that humanity has been trained to accept this decay as natural. Thoth, the keeper of wisdom, the eternal scribe of hidden knowledge, taught that aging begins the moment you stop evolving. He said, "Time does not touch those who keep moving within." What did he mean? Think of the people you've known who grew old before their time. Their faces hardened, their backs bent, their laughter disappeared. Was it really their cells, or was it their soul that aged first? They stopped seeking, they stopped breathing deeply, they stopped moving with presence. In short, they stopped living long before their bodies caught up. On the other hand, you may have met people far older in years, yet radiant with energy, eyes sharp, posture alive, presence magnetic. They defy time, not because of creams, diets, or surgeries, but because they are still moving in spirit. They still play, they still breathe with depth, they still see. This is the forgotten secret of aging. It is not the body that ages first, it is awareness. The body merely follows. Modern culture has hidden this truth beneath vanity. We are sold anti-wrinkle serums, surgeries, and pills, as though the surface can mask the decay within. But these are distractions. They treat symptoms, not causes. They attempt to polish the glass while the flame inside flickers out. Thoth revealed that the true anti-aging exercise has nothing to do with cosmetics and everything to do with energy. It is not about fighting time, it is about transcending it. Time is the tyrant only of those who live unconsciously. The awakened ones bend time, stretch it, slow it, even reverse its effects. And the doorway to this awakening lies not in the future, not in technology, but in the ancient wisdom of presence. Let me ask you, how often do you breathe and actually feel the breath? How often do you walk and actually know that you are walking? How often do you look into another's eyes and truly see them, rather than staring through them? Every unconscious moment, every automatic action, every shallow breath, these are the tiny deaths that age you. But every conscious moment, every deliberate breath, every act of presence, that is where youth is reborn. Thoth warned that 99% of people will ignore this. Why? Because it is too simple. Humanity craves the complicated. We want magic pills, complex rituals, expensive treatments, but the truth has always been free, hidden in plain sight, waiting for those ready to see. And here you are, listening now. That alone is not an accident. If these words have reached you, perhaps it means you are among the few, the seekers, the ones chosen to remember what the world has forgotten. Because this is not just about wrinkles or muscles or longevity. This is about unlocking the ageless self within you, the self that was never bound by time in the first place. So, before we enter the exercise itself, remember this: aging is not something that happens to you. Aging is something you participate in, consciously or unconsciously. And if you can learn to participate differently, you can step outside the ordinary march of time and touch eternity itself. Thoth's message is clear: he who becomes present becomes timeless. And in the moments ahead, I will reveal the forgotten exercise that can make you timeless too. Most people believe aging is written in the body like cracks in stone. That time is an unstoppable force dragging us toward decay. But this is not the full truth. Aging is not caused merely by the ticking of the clock. It is born from what Thoth called the disease of time. And here is the paradox: time itself does not kill you. It is your relationship with time that does. Think about it. How do most people live? They spend their days reliving the past or rehearsing the future. They wake up in yesterday's regrets and go to bed in tomorrow's worries. They exist everywhere except now. And yet the only place life is truly alive is in this moment. This is the hidden disease: disconnection from the present. When you stop living in the now, when your breath becomes shallow, your posture collapses, your thoughts circle endlessly, stagnation sets in. and stagnation is the seed of decay. Thoth revealed that the true enemy of vitality is not age, it is repetition without awareness. The same mechanical routines, the same shallow movements, the same unconscious thoughts looping day after day. This is why so many grow old before their time. They are alive, yet not truly living. They eat but never taste. They move but never feel. They breathe but never notice. Their energy freezes in patterns, and frozen energy becomes illness, fatigue, and ultimately, the heaviness of age. Modern science has caught a glimpse of this truth. Stress hormones, chronic tension, shallow breathing, these accelerate aging at the cellular level. But Thoth knew this long before. He taught that when your spirit stagnates, your cells obey. The body simply mirrors the condition of the soul. Let me give you an image. Imagine a river. As long as it flows, it is clear, vibrant, alive. But the moment it is dammed, it grows still, cloudy, stagnant. Soon, life disappears from it. The human spirit is the same. Flow is youth. Stagnation is aging. Now think of the people around you. Look at their faces, the deep furrows between the eyebrows, the sunken eyes, the drooping posture. These are not just the signs of years passing, they are the scars of mental repetition, the weight of unshed burdens, the evidence of unbroken patterns. Thoth called this the prison of time, not because time itself enslaves you, but because unconscious living chains you to it. You live as a slave to the clock, rushing, regretting, worrying, instead of stepping into the timeless flow of presence. Here's the truth: most fear you do not age, because time moves forward. You age because you resist the present. Every moment of resistance creates tension in the body, and tension is decay. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine breathing fully, moving with awareness, engaging every sense as though you were alive for the very first time. In that state, time does not press against you. Instead, it expands. 1 minute becomes full, rich, eternal, and in that fullness, aging slows. This is why children seem timeless. Their bodies are young, not simply because of biology, but because they are still immersed in wonder. Every sound, every taste, every sensation is new. They live in the eternal present, and the present does not age. But as adults, we trade wonder for repetition, presence for autopilot, awareness for distraction. That is when the hidden disease takes root. Thoth warned humanity, beware not the years that pass, but the moments you abandon, for those moments are stolen by time and never returned. The disease of time is not inevitable, it is a choice, one that most people make unconsciously every day. But if you are listening to this message now, you have been given the chance to choose differently. You can remain stagnant, like the 99%, letting time gnaw at your body while your spirit sleeps, or you can awaken, break the cycle, and begin the exercise of presence that keeps the river of life flowing. Because once you understand the hidden disease of time, you also hold the cure: flow, awareness, movement, and breath. And that is what Thoth's forgotten exercise restores. Most people search for the fountain of youth in bottles, diets, and surgeries. They chase outward remedies, never realizing the true elixir has been inside them all along. Thoth called it dynamic presence, the living exercise that 99% of people ignore, not because it is hidden, but because it is too simple for the distracted mind to value. Dynamic presence is not a workout for the muscles, but a ritual for the soul. It is the art of moving, breathing, and being fully alive in each moment, so deeply that time itself cannot cling to you. Thoth taught, the body ages because the spirit forgets to move. Dynamic presence restores that forgotten movement. It is not stillness like meditation, nor frantic activity like exercise. It is something in between, stillness that moves, and movement that is still. Let me guide you through its 3 pillars. Pillar 1, conscious breath. The first step is breath. Breath is the bridge between body, mind, and spirit. Shallow breath means shallow life. Deep breath awakens every cell. Sit or stand tall, spine straight, crown lifted. Inhale slowly through the nose, drawing the breath deep into the belly. Pause for a heartbeat. Exhale gently through the mouth, as though releasing centuries of stagnant air. Do this not mechanically, but with awareness. With every inhale, silently remind yourself, life enters me. With every exhale, I release decay. If you practice this for just 3 minutes, you will feel younger, not because the years vanish, but because you are no longer feeding the hidden disease of unconscious breath. Pillar 2. Aware movement. Most people walk as though dead, rushing, distracted, unaware of their own body. Thoth said that unconscious movement robs the body of vitality, but when you walk, stretch, or even lift a cup with full awareness, the body becomes radiant. Here's the exercise. Stand and take one step forward. Notice the heel touching the ground, then the arch, then the toes. Feel how your body shifts weight, how your balance changes. Coordinate the step with your breath. Inhale as you lift the foot, exhale as it lands. This may sound trivial, it is not. This is how monks, mystics, and initiates across the ages have walked, not like prisoners of time, but like masters of it. One step in full awareness holds more vitality than 1,000 rush strides. And when you learn to move in this way, not just while walking, but in everything, your body will hum with energy. You'll notice tension melting, posture realigning, and even your face relaxing, as though life has returned to it. Pillar 3. The inner sun dynamic presence is not only physical, it awakens your inner fire, what Thoth called the sun within. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, visualize a golden sphere of light glowing in your chest. With every inhale, feel it expand. With every exhale, let it radiate outward, filling your body, your room, your world. This inner sun is more than imagination, it is energy. It is the spirit reminding the body, I am still alive, I am still eternal. Do this for even 1 minute a day, and you will feel the subtle difference. Your skin glows brighter, your eyes sharpen, your presence becomes magnetic. This is not illusion, it is vitality reborn through awareness. Why 99% ignore? This because it is free, because it is too simple, because it requires no products, no machines, no rituals to impress others. It only requires you to stop being a sleepwalker in your own life. Dynamic presence demands responsibility. You cannot blame genetics or the passage of years if you are unwilling to breathe deeply, move consciously, or light your inner fire. That is why most ignore it. They want an easy escape. But Thoth said, the simple is hidden not by secrecy, but by the blindness of distraction. Living dynamic presence, once you taste it, the exercise is no longer something you do for 5 minutes a day. It becomes your way of life. Every step, every breath, every glance becomes a reminder that you are alive now, and in this now, time loses its grip. Dynamic presence is the forgotten anti-aging practice, not because it prevents the body from changing, but because it keeps the spirit flowing. And when the spirit flows, the body follows. Why does dynamic presence work? Why can something so simple slow the march of time when the world spends billions on creams, surgeries, and treatments? The answer is both mystical and biological, because what Thoth taught thousands of years ago is only now being confirmed by science. Let's begin with the most obvious truth. Your cells are listening. Every breath you take, every thought you repeat, every movement you make sends signals to your body. These signals instruct your DNA to either regenerate or decay. When you breathe shallowly, rush through life, and live unconsciously, you are constantly telling your body, survive, but do not thrive, and your cells obey. They tighten, they wear down, they prepare for death. But when you engage in dynamic presence, you flip the script. Conscious breathing floods your cells with oxygen, the fuel of life. It balances hormones, calms the nervous system, and activates repair mechanisms. Modern studies show that deep breathing can lengthen telomeres, the protective caps of your DNA that directly determine how quickly you age. Thoth didn't use the word telomere, but he knew breath is the thread that ties you to eternity. Aware movement awakens your nervous system, strengthens neural pathways, and prevents the mind from falling into rigidity. Most people move on autopilot, and the brain responds by slowly shutting down unused circuits. Presence reactivates those circuits, keeping the mind sharp and the body coordinated. This is why elders who practice mindful movement, yoga, tai chi, or Thoth's dynamic presence often look younger and live longer than those who simply exercise without awareness. The inner sun practice stimulates not only your imagination, but your energy field. Modern science may call it bioelectricity or resonance, but the ancients knew it as prana, chi, or AKH. When you visualize and feel light radiating through your body, you actually change your electromagnetic field. This subtle energy recharges you in ways no physical supplement can. Now, let's step deeper into the mystical layer. Thoth said, "The body is clay, but the spirit is fire. As long as fire moves through clay, the form remains alive. When the fire dims, the clay cracks." This is the essence of why dynamic presence keeps you young. It keeps the fire moving. Every conscious breath is fuel to the flame. Every deliberate step is circulation of the fire. Every focus on the inner sun is a reminder to the clay you are still alive because the flame is still burning. Consider the opposite. The average person lives in stress, shoulders tight, jaw clenched, thoughts racing. Stress releases cortisol, a chemical that accelerates cell death, weakens the immune system, and dries the skin. This is why worry is written on the face as wrinkles, and bitterness hardens the heart until the body collapses under it. Stress is the hand of time pressing down on you. Dynamic presence dissolves that stress. It signals safety. It tells the body, we are not in danger, we are eternal. And when the body feels safe, it repairs itself. This is why monks, sages, and mystics often look far younger than their years. Their bodies are not being crushed under the weight of false time. Thoth revealed another mystery. Time is not a straight river, but a mirror. As within, so without. If you are stagnant inside, time will stagnate you outside. If you are flowing inside, time cannot hold you. This explains why people who remain curious, playful, and engaged with life often appear ageless. Their inner world is flowing, so their outer form reflects that flow. This is not luck, it is law. Let me give you an image. Picture two people of the same age. The first has lived decades of unconscious repetition, the same thoughts, the same habits, the same fears. Their life is gray, heavy, stagnant. Their body mirrors that: stiff joints, tired eyes, slow recovery. The second person has lived with presence, breathing deeply, playing, staying curious, practicing gratitude. Their spirit is still in motion. Their body mirrors that too: fluid joints, sparkling eyes, a face that glows with life. The years may be the same, but time has treated them differently. Why? Because they treated time differently. Dynamic presence keeps you young because it keeps you alive. Not merely existing, not merely surviving, but fully alive. And life, when lived fully, resists decay. This is why Thoth's exercise is more powerful than any pill or surgery. Pills fight symptoms. Surgeries cut away the surface, but dynamic presence addresses the root, the forgotten flame of awareness. Keep that flame alive, and youth flows through you long after others have dimmed. The truth is simple, yet uncomfortable. Aging is not just about years passing, it is about how much of your awareness you allow to wither. And if you can restore that awareness, through breath, through movement, through the inner sun, you can restore your vitality. Thoth's message is clear: the secret of youth is not to deny time, but to flow beyond it. And that is why this exercise, ignored by the 99%, remains the most powerful anti-aging practice on earth. Time is not your enemy. Time is your mirror. These words, carried from the depths of Thoth's wisdom, break the illusion most of us have been trained to believe. Aging, he says, is not simply the slow decay of the body. Aging is the erosion of presence. It is not the wrinkles on your skin that betray you. It is the dullness in your eyes, the heaviness in your breath, the quiet surrender of wonder that ages you long before the calendar does. Thoth's message is not a promise of immortality. It is a warning. He tells us that most people die long before their bodies are ever buried. They die when they stop seeking, when they stop noticing, when they stop allowing their spirit to be moved by the simple rhythm of life. Their hearts may beat, but their presence is absent. And so, they grow old, not because time demanded it, but because their awareness withered. The forgotten secret is this: youth is not preserved by creams, surgeries, or potions. It is preserved by alignment. When your body, mind, and spirit move in unison, you bend the illusion of time. Every wrinkle becomes not a mark of exhaustion, but a symbol of wisdom glowing beneath the surface. The light of vitality does not vanish. It only dims when you turn away from it. Thoth speaks directly to the seeker. Those who chase youth on the outside will always feel betrayed. The mirror reflects their fear, not their essence. Those who cultivate youth on the inside will radiate it without effort. Their energy speaks louder than appearances. Those who practice dynamic presence the forgotten exercise of living fully in every breath, carry a glow untouched by years. But Thoth's words are not only an observation, they are a call to awaken. He reminds us that each moment of full presence is a rebirth. Each deep breath, each attentive gaze, each genuine connection with the now resets your spirit. The body follows where the spirit leads. The seeker's choice then is clear. You can surrender to distraction and let your life slip through your fingers, or you can step into awareness and let your spirit guide the rhythm of your years. And so, Thoth closes with a truth sharper than any blade. Do not count your years, count your awakenings. Each day lived in full presence renews you more than 1,000 years wasted in distraction. This is the exercise. This is the secret. This is the path. Thoth taught that before any movement, before any word, before any action, there must first be stillness. He called this the silent posture, a forgotten exercise that is not about stretching the body, but stretching awareness. The silent posture begins with the simplest act, standing or sitting in complete presence. Feet rooted to the ground, spine aligned like the pillar of a temple, shoulders relaxed yet strong. You do not fidget, you do not rush, you do not seek to perform. You simply exist fully in that moment. This is the posture of eternity. Why does something so simple matter? Because modern life has trained us to live in fragments. We lean into the future, slouch into the past, and rarely stand in the now. Our posture mirrors this fragmentation: tense shoulders, collapsed chest, restless hands. Each of these signals not strength, but surrender to anxiety, to distraction, to decay. But in the silent posture, the seeker does something radical. You stop. You hold yourself as if you are both student and statue, breathing deliberately, embodying presence so deeply that the body itself becomes a vessel for timelessness. Thoth explained that when the body learns silence, the mind follows, and when the mind grows silent, the spirit speaks. In that silence, something extraordinary happens. The illusion of age loosens its grip. The heartbeat steadies, the breath lengthens. The cells themselves seem to awaken, as if responding to the message, I am here, I am whole, I am alive. This is not merely an exercise for the body, it is a reprogramming of identity. In the silent posture, you are no longer racing toward the future or dragging the past behind you. You are presence embodied, and presence is ageless. Most people overlook this practice because it feels too small, too still, too simple. But that is the paradox. Great power often hides in simplicity. The silent posture is the seed of dynamic presence. From stillness comes clarity. From clarity comes vitality. And from vitality comes the kind of radiance that no clock can diminish. So Thoth whispers, before you run, stand. Before you speak, listen. Before you grow old, be still. The silent posture is not just a pause, it is the beginning of renewal. Thoth said, the eyes are not only windows to the soul, they are windows to time. Most people look but do not see. They glance, they skim, they consume, but their gaze is shallow, dulled by distraction. Over the years, the eyes grow tired, not because of age alone, but because they stop practicing depth. The eyes of eternity is the forgotten exercise that restores this depth, renewing not only how we see the world, but how the world sees us. The practice is deceptively simple. Look as if you are seeing for the very first time, whether it is the face of a loved one, a tree bending in the wind, or the details of your own hand. Pause and let your gaze settle. Do not rush to categorize. Do not rush to judge. Simply see, truly see. In this act, something remarkable occurs. The restless chatter of the mind begins to soften because you are no longer stuck inside it. You have anchored yourself in vision. You awaken a childlike wonder that most adults bury under layers of cynicism. This wonder is not naive, it is regenerative. It keeps the spirit young because it teaches the body to experience life as if it is always new. Thoth warned that when the eyes go dim, the soul follows. He meant not blindness of sight, but blindness of perception. Those who no longer marvel at the ordinary are already halfway to death. Their eyes glaze not from years, but from disconnection. But the seeker who practices the eyes of eternity sees differently. Their gaze carries weight, intensity, presence. People feel it when such a person looks at them. It is as if time slows, as if they are being seen beyond their masks. And in return, the one who sees feels themselves renewed. Because when you look deeply, you also awaken the depth within yourself. The exercise does not require hours, only moments. A few seconds each day, locking eyes with the infinite that hides in the finite. The ripple is powerful, stress eases, gratitude rises, and the world seems less ordinary. Thoth wars lingers like an echo, look not with tired eyes, but with eternal ones. For the way you see life will decide how long life lives within you. The eyes of eternity is not about sharpening vision, it is about restoring perception. To see with eternity is to live beyond age. Would you like me to now expand the breath of renewal? Thoth taught that the universe began not with light but with sound, a vibration, a resonance, a tone so pure that it carved matter out of the void. And if sound could shape the stars, then sound can also shape the seeker. This is the forgotten exercise, to use sound not as noise, but as medicine, as a tool of renewal. In modern life, sound has been degraded into clutter, traffic, gossip, meaningless chatter. These sounds drain vitality, scattering our energy into fragments. Thoth warns that when you constantly bathe in chaotic vibrations, your body begins to mirror that chaos. The heart races, the breath shortens, the spirit shrinks. This is aging at the vibrational level, but the seeker who understands the power of sound reclaims it. The practice is simple, yet profound. Each day, release a sound that carries your life force. It could be a chant, a hum, a prayer, or even a single vibrating tone. When your chest and throat open, when your breath pushes sound into the world with presence, you are not simply making noise, you are tuning yourself back to harmony. Thoth described the body as a harp. When neglected, its strings slacken and the music dies. But when cared for, when struck with intention, it resonates with eternity. Your voice, even if soft or untrained, has this same sacred power. To hum deeply is to massage your cells with vibration. To chant is to align your breath, your heart, and your mind in a single rhythm. To pray or speak words of truth is to plant seeds in the soul that blossom long after the sound has faded. Most ignore this exercise because they underestimate it. They think sound is fleeting, gone the moment it's made. But sound never truly disappears. It ripples. And each sound you create ripples through your own body first. So Thoth's command is clear. Guard the sounds you consume. Guard the sounds you release. If you surround yourself with anger, your spirit ages. If you fill your space with beauty, your spirit glows. If you release sounds of power, tones of presence, chants of clarity, words of truth, you are not just speaking, you are sculpting yourself against time. The power of sound is not about volume, it is about resonance. When your voice vibrates with presence, eternity answers back. Do you want me to also expand the rhythm of movement, so it ties naturally after the power of sound? Thoth revealed a paradox that most seekers overlook: gratitude bends time. He explained that while humans believe aging is the inevitable march of years, it is more deeply tied to the weight of unprocessed bitterness, regret, and dissatisfaction. These invisible burdens compress the spirit, and when the spirit contracts, the body follows. Wrinkles deepen, shoulders slump, vitality fades, not because of time, but because of heaviness. Gratitude is the forgotten antidote, not the shallow, polite kind spoken out of habit, but the fierce, conscious act of recognizing the miracle hidden in every moment. When practiced deeply, gratitude does more than soothe the mind, it rewires perception, and perception, Thoth said, is the true architect of age. Think of the difference: a person who greets each sunrise with resentment ages quickly, their face marked by frowns and their heart restless with complaint. Meanwhile, one who greets the same sunrise with gratitude carries a different glow. Their eyes sparkle, their breath steadies, their very cells seem to hum in alignment. They do not deny difficulty, but they choose to honor what is still good. That choice alone becomes a regenerative force. Science now echoes what Thoth declared millennia ago. Gratitude reduces stress, balances the nervous system, strengthens immunity. But Thoth's teaching went further. He said gratitude unlocks a timeless state. When you say thank you fully and truthfully, you step outside the obsession with past and future. You land squarely in the present. And presence is ageless. The exercise is simple. Each day find 3 things, no matter how small, and hold them in reverence. A sip of clean water, the warmth of sunlight, the beating of your own heart. Speak your thanks aloud, for sound carries power. With every act of gratitude, you are not just acknowledging blessings, you are polishing the mirror of your soul, clearing away the dust of bitterness. Thoth's words ring like a bell. The ungrateful grow old quickly, for they see only what withers. The grateful grow eternal, for they see only what blooms. Gratitude does not stop time, but it changes your relationship with it. Instead of being chased by the years, you walk beside them, hand in hand, radiant and unafraid. Thoth taught that every seeker is both a giver and a receiver of energy, though most live as if they are only one. Some pour themselves endlessly into others until they are drained and hollow, while others hoard energy, refusing to share, becoming stagnant and heavy. Both extremes lead to premature aging, not of the body alone, but of the spirit. The forgotten exercise is to restore balance through what Thoth called the circle of energy. This practice begins with awareness. Every breath you take is a cycle: inhale, receive, exhale, release. Life itself is patterned on this sacred rhythm, yet most people live out of sync, clinging to what no longer serves them, or giving away more than they ever allow themselves to replenish. The result is fatigue, resentment, and a sense of being old, even when the years are still young. To enter the circle of energy, the seeker must consciously align with this exchange. When you give, whether it is kindness, attention, or love, you give it with full presence, not out of obligation. And when you receive, whether it is rest, nourishment, or joy, you receive without guilt, understanding that replenishment is part of the sacred cycle. In this flow, energy circulates, like blood through the body, keeping every cell alive and renewed. Thoth warned, those who break the circle will break themselves. To give without receiving is to burn out. To receive without giving is to rot. But those who live within the circle glow with an energy that feels ageless, because it is never depleted, it is constantly moving. The exercise can be practiced in small ways. Share a smile with a stranger, and then allow yourself to feel the warmth when they return it. Offer gratitude to a meal, then savor the nourishment it gives back. Meditate on the breath itself. Inhale as the universe giving, exhale as your soul returning. This simple awareness reawakens the natural cycle most have forgotten. When energy flows freely, stagnation dissolves, the body feels lighter, the mind clearer, the heart more open. And this is why Thoth said that energy, not years, determines the true age of a person. His words remain: do not hoard, do not deplete, complete the circle, and the circle will complete you. Thoth declared that one of the greatest tragedies of humankind is the abandonment of play. As children, we are explorers. Every stone, every shadow, every sound is an adventure. We laugh freely, run without purpose, and dance without needing music. But as we grow older, we are told to be serious, to act our age, and in obeying, we trade wonder for worry. The spirit becomes heavy, and with that heaviness, aging accelerates. The forgotten exercise is not hidden in temples or carved on stone walls. It is hidden in the simplest of acts: to play. Not for achievement, not for approval, not for survival, but for the pure joy of being alive. Thoth taught that play is not the opposite of discipline. It is the soul's discipline against despair. Why is play so powerful? Because it restores the qualities that time tries to steal: curiosity, spontaneity, joy. When the seeker allows themselves to play, they step outside the rigid story of age. A laugh breaks the illusion of seriousness. A dance interrupts the weight of the years. Even a simple game, engaged with presence, reawakens the inner child, the eternal flame that never truly ages. Modern science now echoes this wisdom. Play reduces stress, strengthens memory, boosts creativity, and floods the body with chemicals of renewal. But Thoth went deeper. He said play is a form of worship, a declaration that life is more than survival. It is participation in the divine rhythm of creation itself. The exercise is simple. Reclaim a piece of play each day. Skip a step as you walk. Sing off key. Create something messy without caring if it's good. Tell a joke and laugh, even if no one else does. These small acts, repeated, become a fountain of renewal. Thoth warned, however, that many seekers will resist this teaching. Pride whispers, "You are too old for this, too busy, too important." But this is the very lie that enslaves the spirit. He reminds us, the one who cannot play has already grown old. The one who plays is eternal. Reclaiming play is not regression, it is resurrection. It is remembering that youth was never about years, but about wonder. And when you return to wonder, you return to the timeless. Thoth spoke of a sacred moment that most people ignore: the pause between breaths, the stillness between thoughts, the silence between sounds. He called it the silver pause, for it is like a hidden thread of silver woven through the fabric of time, shimmering just beyond ordinary awareness. The silver pause is the exercise of stepping into that in-between space. It is not about doing, but about suspending. It is not about rushing to the next inhale or chasing the next word. It is about resting fully in the gap. In that tiny pause, life reveals its true texture. The seeker discovers a quiet power, a fountain that does not age. Why is this pause so potent? Because aging is often accelerated by constant motion. We rush, we push, we fill every silence with noise, every gap with distraction. The body burns itself out, the mind frays, the spirit is never allowed to breathe. But in the silver pause, we return to balance. The nervous system settles, the heartbeat softens, the mind clears. Time itself seems to stop. Thoth taught that eternity hides in these pauses. The pause between the inhale and exhale is not emptiness. It is presence in its purest form. The pause before you speak determines whether your words wound or heal. The pause before you act decides whether you walk in wisdom or in haste. To master the silver pause is to master the rhythm of life itself. This practice is subtle but powerful. Throughout the day, notice the spaces. Pause for 2 seconds after a deep breath. Pause before responding to an insult. Pause as you watch the sun sink below the horizon. Do not rush to fill it, let it expand. Over time, the pauses grow longer, richer, and within them, you will find a silence that nourishes you more deeply than sleep. Most people overlook this because it feels too small, too invisible. Yet Thoth whispered, "The ageless are those who know how to stop without fear." For in stopping, you step out of the current of time and into the silver thread that leads back to eternity. The silver pause is not absence, it is fullness. It is the hidden well of renewal, waiting in the space you usually rush past. To enter it, even for a moment, is to taste timelessness. Thoth often warned that the body does not age alone. It follows the mind. And the mind, he said, has its own diet. Just as the body grows weak on junk food, the mind grows old on junk thoughts. Every image you consume, every word you repeat to yourself, every belief you hold, these are the meals your mind eats daily. And over time, they carve lines not only into your thoughts, but into your face, your posture, your very presence. Most people feed their minds unconsciously. They feast on fear-driven news, gossip soaked in envy, endless comparison through glowing screens. The result, a spirit that feels starved of hope, a nervous system that burns out, a face that carries stress like a mask. They think they are simply getting older, but Thoth revealed the truth. They are poisoned by what they feed the mind. The forgotten exercise is to curate the mind's diet. This does not mean avoiding the world, but choosing consciously what you allow to shape your inner landscape. Words of truth nourish, stories of beauty strengthen. Silence itself is a feast richer than endless chatter. Just as the seeker chooses clean water for the body, they must choose clear thoughts for the mind. Thoth described 3 sacred foods for the mind: clarity, feeding the mind with stillness, meditation and reflection; curiosity, feeding the mind with questions, with wonder, with the courage to keep learning; compassion, feeding the mind with kindness, both toward yourself and toward others. When these are practiced daily, the mind grows light, flexible, and young. The body follows, breathing more deeply, sleeping more peacefully, moving with greater ease. But Thoth also gave a warning. The one who eats only shadows will live in darkness. If your inner table is set with bitterness, fear and anger, do not be surprised when you feel tired, heavy, and old long before your years demand it. The practice is simple. Ask yourself each day, what have I fed my mind today? Was it poison or nourishment? Then choose differently. Replace gossip with gratitude. Replace fear with faith. Replace noise with silence. The mind's diet is not about restriction, it is about selection. To feed your mind with truth, beauty, and presence is to infuse your spirit with youth. And when the spirit is young, time itself bends around you. Thoth's message was never meant for the masses. It was whispered for the few, for the seekers who are ready to see beyond the surface of life. And if you have come this far, if these words have stirred something inside you, then you are one of them. You are not here by chance. You are here because a part of you already knows the truth. Aging is not only about time, it is about how deeply you live. Every exercise you've been given, the silent posture, the eyes of eternity, the power of sound, the breath of renewal, the circle of energy, the silver pause, the mind's diet, the act of reclaiming play, these are not random practices, they are keys. Together, they form a path back to presence, back to vitality, back to the timeless essence that lives within you. Thoth reminds us, most people will ignore this. They will keep chasing surface solutions, clinging to lotions, surgeries, and distractions, never realizing they are trying to paint over a crumbling wall. But the seeker, the one who dares to awaken, discovers that true anti-aging is not about denying death. It is about refusing to live half alive. The choice now lies with you. Will you walk away from this teaching as if it were just another story? Or will you step into practice, even in the smallest of ways? Will you pause, breathe, and see with eternal eyes? Will you reclaim the wonder that time tried to steal? Thoth's closing whisper is both a blessing and a challenge. Eternity is not in the years ahead, it is in the moment you hold now. Live fully, and you will never truly grow old. So take this message, not as knowledge, but as a call. Begin today, stand in silence, breathe with presence, look with wonder, laugh with freedom, nourish the mind, flow with energy, pause in stillness. These are not mere exercises, they are the foundations of an ageless life. The forgotten secret is no longer forgotten, you have heard it. The question is, will you live it? The invitation is open, the path is before you. Step into it and claim your timelessness.